A massive, highly automated, centralized warehouse can ship thousands of bulk pallets across the country every single hour. A gig worker manually pulls a single apple off of a local grocery store shelf for an immediate last-mile delivery. The physical architecture of a distribution network is the operational execution of a firm's competitive strategy. This architecture relies on a strict trade-off. A network designed for absolute minimum cost cannot physically deliver maximum responsiveness. Networks built for immediate responsiveness carry high structural costs. If those costs misalign with the strategy, they will systematically erode the company's margins. Designing an effective network requires calculating the exact mathematical trade-offs between facility count, inventory costs, and delivery speed. We are going to derive the financial U-curve of facility costs and analyze why omni-channel retail is forcing legacy networks to redesign their physical nodes. Two companies selling identical products can have completely contradictory distribution networks, and both can be correct if their underlying strategic targets differ. Network design begins with explicit choices about which specific customer service dimensions a company prioritizes. This scale represents the 6 variables of customer service a network can provide: response time, product variety, availability, experience, visibility, and returnability. Increasing performance on these dimensions requires manipulating 4 structural cost drivers: inventory, transportation, facility, and information. Shrinking response time acts as a multiplier. As the time requirement drops, the inventory and facility costs must expand to rebalance the equation. There is no perfect network, only a series of financial trade-offs, where every service upgrade demands a structural cost penalty. Look at a supply chain in its simplest form: a single, massive, centralized distribution facility serving an entire nation. Physical distance strictly limits transit speed in this model, resulting in high average response times for customers on the outer edges of the market. Centralization provides a mathematical advantage known as safety stock pooling. Because all variable demand draws from one single location, the statistical peaks and valleys of customer orders smooth each other out. The total backup inventory required for the network drops significantly, driving inventory costs to their minimum possible level. A highly centralized network trades time for efficiency, accepting long response times in exchange for lower inventory holding costs. To improve response time, the network architect adds new distribution facilities closer to the customer bases. Outbound transportation costs drop as facilities move closer to the final customer, eliminating the need for expensive long-haul freight. However, decentralization destroys safety stock pooling. Each new facility must hold its own backup inventory, causing total network inventory costs to rise. Fixed facility and handling costs also multiply. Every new building requires its own infrastructure, management team, and localized systems. Total supply chain cost is the sum of these intersecting lines. This creates a distinct U-curve. The bottom of this curve represents the mathematically optimal number of facilities for a given strategy. A company's optimal distribution geometry is dictated entirely by exactly where they choose to sit on the cost-responsiveness frontier. We can apply this to reality by comparing 2 opposing strategies: selling custom-built appliances versus daily groceries. A high-value, low-demand strategy like the luxury sofa fits the dropship architecture, where the retailer folds 0 inventory and forwards orders to the manufacturer. Dropshipping results in high per-unit transport costs and long wait times, but it eliminates the need for retail inventory investment. Fast-moving goods like toothpaste require retailer storage, with decentralized inventory positioned just blocks away from the final consumer. This model carries the highest inventory and facility costs, but provides instant availability and eliminates last-mile delivery fees. Architectures must match the product's economic profile. Storing custom sofas in 1,000 local stores creates a cost structure the product's price point cannot sustain. Omni-channel fulfillment is currently disrupting legacy networks. This is the requirement to serve both online and in-store channels from a shared distribution footprint. Canadian Tire operates roughly 1,700 retail locations, creating the densest hard goods network in the country. This density suggests a structural advantage for e-commerce, as online orders could theoretically be shipped directly from these local stores. Utilizing a retail store as a fulfillment center compromises the unit economics of the U-curve established earlier. Industry data shows that fulfilling an e-commerce order from a distributed retail node costs 2 to 4 times more per unit than standard pallet-level replenishment. Ship-from-store models force retail employees to act as warehouse pickers, fragmenting inventory and increasing localized handling costs. Forcing decentralized facilities to perform centralized fulfillment tasks degrades the economics of the core retail operation. Major retailers are now physically segmenting their distribution architectures, rather than relying on multi-purpose nodes. Dedicating specific nodes to specific channels is the primary way to manage the high unit costs of omni-channel fulfillment. A supply chain network functions as a dynamic financial equation. Definitive physical geometry must always submit to unit economics.